welcome to Forensic Hunt channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today's video is on forensic biology. It's just a general introduction of forensic biology. As a subject, what topics you will be expecting to study in this subject or field. So let's start. So first of all, I'll start with the definition of forensic biology. So forensic biology is basically a subdiscipline of forensic science, and it applies the knowledge of biology to identify and analyze the different biological evidences which you obtain from the crime scene or the evidentiary material which are present at the crime scene, or any material which we get from the victim or from the list of suspected people to establish the fact that a crime has taken place. So we basically analyze the biological evidence material that we have obtained from the crime scene and also from the victim or from the suspected person. Now we should also focus on the history of the forensic biology, how certain major developments contributed in the field of forensic biology and how this particular field was developed. So firstly, it is a broad discipline and it includes different areas of specialization such as DNA analysis, forensic anthropology, pathology, entomology, odontology, forensic botany, forensic serology and forensic microbiology. So these are some of the certain disciplines which fall under the forensic biology. And if we trace back the history of forensic biology, so first of all it started from Alfonso Bertillon. He was a scientist, and in 1879 he first evolved a scientific system for personal identification. He basically developed the science of anthropometry, and it includes a series of measurements which help us in differentiating one human individual from other. So we do certain measurements of the body parts and then we try to differentiate two people. So first of all, Alfonso Bertillon in 1879, he basically started anthropometry, and then later on Karl Landsteiner in 1901, he basically discovered that the blood could be grouped into different categories, that is A, B, AB and O. So Karl Landsteiner also contributed a major discovery in field of forensic biology. Then there was Dr. Leonard Latte. He basically discovered the latte crust method, and he basically discovered a simple procedure to determine the blood group of the dried blood stains which we found at the crime scene. And this particular technique was adopted from criminal investigation too. Then H.O. Albrecht in 1928, he was a German chemist. He developed a chemical solution which we know today as luminol, and we all know luminol helps us in identifying hidden blood stains at a crime scene, and luminol makes the blood glow, so it is useful in detecting the blood stains at the scene of crime. Then Sir Alex Jeffrey was there. We all know contribution of Sir Alex Jeffrey in the field of biology. He developed the DNA fingerprinting technique in 1984 to examine the variations in the genetic code which help us in differentiating or distinguishing one individual from the another. And lastly, Kerry Mullis was there. In 1993, he developed the PCR technique which we use today to amplify the samples of DNA fragments. Even today, during this pandemic of coronavirus, we are using the technology of PCR, that is RT-PCR, to amplify. So this technique was useful for amplifying the DNA sample obtained from the scene of crime in an extremely minute amount, or even in degraded state, or in a mixture of body fluids of two or more people. So all these scientists basically made a major contribution in the field of forensic biology, and they all contributed a major discovery due to which the field of forensic biology evolved. Now, what is the significance and application of forensic biology? Obviously, if we are studying a subject, then obviously there must be certain significance and application of forensic biology. That's why we are studying. So let's discuss the significance and application of forensic biology. So obviously the field of forensic biology deals with the examination of evidences that we get from the living beings and from the associated biological material that are found at the crime scene. Since the term forensics has been associated with the biology, so obviously any biological evidence material that we will be getting from the crime scene, that will play an important role. So In forensic biology, we basically examine and identify different biological fluids like blood, urine, semen, sweat, saliva, milk, tea, juice, and we also determine the origin, either it came from human, plant, or other animal sources. Then we examine and identify materials such as wood, hair, fiber, fecal material, nails, bones, teeth, leaves, seed, pollen, and other plant materials. Apart from that, we also examine and identify diatoms in the water, human viscera, and food items. Obviously, we all know diatoms help us in identifying whether a person was alive while drowning, or basically it helps us in differentiating between ante-mortem drowning and post-mortem drowning. Now, apart from that, it is also helpful in determining the time since death by examining the bones and teeth. So, time since death, this comes under thanatology. Apart from that, we also try to determine the time since death and manner of death by examining the insects that are found on the dead body. So, all these things are studied in forensic biology. Now, what are the subfields of forensic biology? So these are the subfields of forensic biology. Forensic DNA analysis is there. So it basically involves study of DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. We all know it is the most relevant evidence which can be obtained from the scene of crime. It has numerous applications like identification of unknown biological remains like blood, seminal fluid, sweat, bone, hair with roots, tooth pulp, and also DNA plays a major important role in paternity testing, in missing person identification, and in cases of impersonation. Basically, DNA has played an important role in the field of forensic biology. Then forensic serology is there. Forensic serology is the scientific study or diagnostic examination of blood serum, especially with regard to the response of immune system to the pathogens. So it deals with the preliminary and confirmatory analysis of biological fluids, and the knowledge of serology helps us in determining the origin of biological fluids, whether it is of human, vegetable, or animal origin. The next subfield is forensic botany. So it basically involves the identification of the source of plant material like leaves, stem, pollen grains, seeds, fibers found at or over the deceased, which can help us in determining the place of commission of crime. We all know pollen grains are quite important, and the study of pollen grains is known as palynology, and pollen grains are usually considered as biological fingerprints because since vegetation of every area is different, so obviously with the assessment of pollen grains we can deduce to what places that particular person has been through. The next subfield is forensic anthropology. It deals with the collection and identification of skeletal remains, either they are from animal or human origin. Forensic anthropology has played a major role in disaster victim identification. When there was pandemic and many dead bodies were there, so that time when we wanted to identify a person, or even now when we find some old bodies, and we want to identify whether it is of male or female, then forensic anthropology plays an important role. It helps us in the identification of a deceased by helping in the determination of race, sex, age from the skeletal remains. The next subfield is forensic odontology. We all know enamel is the hardest part of the human body, which takes many years to degrade and decompose when the body is buried. So the teeth obtained at the scene of crime or from the buried remains can be used to link the culprit or the victim. Apart from that, in forensic odontology, we also examine the bite marks over the surface of the object, body, vegetable stuff, and it can be useful in the identification of the criminal. We all know forensic odontology played a major role in Ted Bundy case. The next subfield is forensic pathology. It deals with detailed external and internal examination of the deceased body through autopsy. It basically helps in determining time since death, manner of death, and cause of death. Apart from that, forensic entomology is there. In forensic entomology, we study the life cycle of the insect that is found near and inside the decomposed cadaver of humans or animals. Then forensic microbiology that is the last subfield of forensic biology. It basically involves the application of knowledge and expertise of microbiology for the identification of crime and using microbial evidence for the conviction of the criminal. If you have read about the role of forensic microbiology, then you must have heard about the famous anthrax case. When anthrax letter was sent to the people in the USA and people started suffering from it. So in forensic microbiology, we study about the microorganisms. We try to identify the zero patient, and moreover, who was responsible for spreading that particular biological material or microbe. So these are the different subfields, and so that's it, guys. So if you liked the video, then please hit the like button and subscribe our channel, and also share the video. Thank you.